Hi everyone, it's Adrian here, and I've got Jenni Madison from Coconut Magic. So Jenni, welcome to the show.
Hi, Adrian. Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. Now, Jenni, I found your website when I was looking up coconut oil. There's a lot of, I'm sure as you know, there's a lot of sort of superfoods, and everyone's interested in health, and it almost seems like every week there's a new superfood coming out, and coconut oil is one of the big ones that a lot of people are interested in. But I thought I'd just start with asking, how did you get involved in the coconut oil scene? Because I have read your site, and you said, I think was it synchronistic that you wrote?
Yes, it was. It was a series of what I recall as synchronistic events
Right,
because it's kind of like the coconut came to me. All right, I we
right.
sort of it's like when you have those meetings that become life changing.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
my meeting with coconut and coconut oil in particular was definitely like that. I'd been invited to Thailand for a work position,
Hmm.
and in a very, very short amount of time, it basically didn't work out. So there I was in Thailand. What I thought I was going there for didn't eventuate,
Sure.
and I just happened to be there. It did lead me to a relatively stressful time in my life. Sort of, I felt like I was dealing with a failure, and
Mm.
you know, things weren't very shiny for me, and I wasn't feeling so great. And I actually had got a little sick. I got my sensitive parts of my body, my constitution, and I know many others that when I stress, I tend to sort of harbor it in my digestion.
Yeah.
And I started suffering from quite a few digestive ailments. And also, when the digestion's not working properly, skin starts to suffer too.
Yeah.
And I started getting, quite hefty bouts of eczema and things like this. Ailments, though, that I had, to be honest, for most of my life, but
Mm.
on and off, because of these sort of perhaps sensitive areas, or as I said, it was just the way my body would respond to stress. But it all sort of amplified during that time while I was in
Sure.
Thailand. And I was just recommended by a local person to use coconut oil, and I had never used it before, or even, to be honest, I didn't really know what it was. I was
Yeah.
drinking the fresh coconuts,
Yeah.
eating the Thai food or eating the food that had coconut in it, but the oil, I had no idea. So that's when the synchronicity began, because the first time I heard it, I sort of thought, oh, didn't think much of it. But then I got this email from a friend who sent a group email out to a few of us, and he was very, very up there when it came to nutrition
Hmm.
and health, natural health. He was making his own kefir and kombucha,
I've tried that. Yep.
that sort of level of, he was really into it.
Yeah.
So he sends this email out to us all saying, I'm ordering in some coconut oil. Who would like some? So I think of what the lady had said to me prior, and I'd take an order of 1 litre. And a few
Wow.
days later, and that's right, included in his email were a lot of links to the benefits of coconut oil.
Right.
That's the moment that my life changed, because I started to read and research, and I just couldn't stop. And I thought, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
A few days later, I went to get my litre, and when I told him about my stomach ailments, I had like a yeast infection. It was quite
Yeah.
chronic, very chronic, a foggy brain, bloated stomach, a lot of pain. And he said to me, read this book, and he gave me a copy of Dr. Bruce Fife's book, Coconut Cures, and he said, do what
Yeah.
it says.
Yep.
Because in that book, Dr. Bruce Fife talks a lot about how coconut oil works to help heal digestion. And so I did. I followed a program that's called the Coconut Oil Detox. I started using it on my skin, and within a couple of weeks, my skin had completely cleared up.
Yep.
Things like dermatitis and things that had been there for years, most of my life, were gone. And I thought, nothing has ever helped me like this.
Yeah.
And then, in a short amount of time, my digestion started to improve. I did the detox, and voila, I take it every day now. I have a strong digestion, and yeah, and I just started to tell everybody about my experience with coconut oil. They said, could you get some for me? Could you get some for me? And before,
Yeah.
before I knew it, I was just selling coconut oil.
So it's interesting. So this, I found with a lot of people, what sort of started, I guess, in inverted commas as a failure turned out to be almost your life's calling. Is that fair to say?
Definitely, definitely. Yeah. If I didn't, if I hadn't got sort of called to Thailand and experienced what did really feel like
Yeah.
a setback, I wouldn't have discovered coconut oil. Mm.
Sure. And so you've got your company now, obviously Coconut Magic. I guess how did you how did you first start using it? You mentioned that you took it internally, but obviously you put it on your skin as well. Um, if someone's just doesn't understand where to start, what are the easiest ways for them to start using coconut oil?
Yeah, a great way to start is to just mix a teaspoon in a warm drink. Maybe
Yep,
your warm water and lemon juice first thing in the morning is a great way to take your coconut oil.
yep,
Another fantastic way is to start using it in your cooking. That's one of the most important health transitions I say to people that you can make, because not only by using coconut oil for cooking are you going to get the benefits of the coconut oil, but you're also going to stop ingesting heated unsaturated oils, which are
yeah,
really, really quite toxic, or even worse, those sort of commercial cooking oils.
yeah.
Taking that out of the diet, not heating oils that shouldn't be heated, even a good quality olive oil, very healthy. Once it's heated, becomes unhealthy.
That just to interrupt, sorry for a sec, is that trans fats that we're talking about? So when you put the healthy oils in, or the unhealthier oils, and it begins to smoke, it changes chemically, and even a little bit of ingestion of that has proven to be quite toxic to our bodies. But coconut oil has, if I understand it correctly, has a different. It doesn't do that. It doesn't have that transition to trans fats. Is that right?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't transition to trans fat. It can be heated and heated to very high temperatures, so it's safe even in frying. And it won't break down because it's a saturated fat, so it's
Hmm.
got a very stable structure,
Sure,
and it just won't oxidize or go rancid or anything like that
sure.
as quickly and easily as a sensitive oil, such as a monounsaturated or even more so a polyunsaturated
Yep.
oil.
So it's great to take a bit of it, like a teaspoon first thing in the morning, also used for cooking. How do you use it on the skin? Do you just, is it like, I mean, I don't have that much experience with putting things on my skin, but do you just use it as a moisturizer, or how would you use it?
Yes, as you would any sort of cream, lotion, moisturizer. I can show you quickly. Like
Sure.
it absorbs coconut magic, in particular from our customers' feedback, absorbs particularly well in the skin, which actually is a very good sign of a high concentration of medium chain fatty acids.
Right.
But can you see what I'm doing here?
Yep.
I just took a little bit. You don't need a lot because it goes a long way. And with lotion, sometimes people are rubbing it to get it in the
Yeah.
skin.
Yeah.
No, you don't need to do that. You just literally spread it. And as I said, a little bit will go a long way. So I put a tiny bit on the
Yeah, I
end of
saw
this.
that. It's
Yeah,
covered your whole arm.
it's covered my whole arm. So it's a bottle of coconut. It
Yeah.
lasts, for the whole body for a long time. Put it in your hair, everything. But that's it. And I just give it. You can almost instantly see. I
No, I
always
can
ask
see you
people.
think you belong on the beach now, honestly.
But you know what? It's not greasy. The skin drinks it.
Yeah,
And I'll give you a little bit of science behind why that
sure.
is. The medium chain fatty acids, which is the unique makeup of coconut oil, is also found naturally in our natural skin oil. It's
Right.
called sebum. Our skin produces an oil naturally. What happens, and I learnt this over on the islands, we wash our bodies, and naturally we wash, and we wash off a lot of our natural
Yeah,
oils. So when the body gets coconut oil on it, like I've just done, it relates to its natural oils and just
sure.
sucks it up. It's like, it's like water to the, when you're wanting to
Sure.
hydrate. Coconut oils like that for the skin. The hydration it gives is amazing, as well as the healing benefits of antifungal, antibacterial. So it's
Yeah.
detoxifying all the microbacteria and fungi, and it's also going to help to heal any of those fungal infections,
Sure.
which, like I mentioned before, I used to suffer dermatitis,
Sure.
eczema, things like that.
You just mentioned you can also use it in your hair. That's one I haven't heard before. So how would you use it in your hair? Is it after a shower and you put it through, you wash it through your hair? How does that work?
There's many different ways, and it's actually a very traditional beauty regime in
Right.
Asia and in India and in
Sure.
other Asian countries. And there's a number of different ways. People do it so differently. Like in India, they use it as a conditioner. So after
Right.
shampooing, they'll put it in their hair and just leave it in there, and leave it in sometimes for days. And they have that. It's quite normal to see the women. You could see they've got the oil in their hair. Beauty treatments, I think more so over here in the West, and what I
Hmm.
like to do as well is a simple beauty treatment is using it as you would like a natural hair treatment. So after you shampoo, sorry, start again.
Okay.
before you shampoo, and you can do it during the day, or even a nice way to do it is at night before you go to sleep.
Yeah.
So ladies, um, just put coconut oil even in dry hair, coat it everywhere, right to the ends, massage the scalp because it helps to any sort of, again, flaky skin or anything there,
Yeah.
sometimes the fungal dandruff, anything like that, it'll help. Leave the coconut oil in overnight. So it gets a good 7 or 8 hours, put a towel on the pillow, and then just wash it normally in the morning, and your hair feels soft and you can really feel
Great.
the benefits for, for days afterwards. And then just, it's nice to do it once or twice a week, just to
Right.
keep that nourishment. And if I may, Adrian, just
Sure.
go back. You asked me about getting started on coconut oil,
Yeah.
and this is really important. So I mentioned getting started with a teaspoon. I started on 3 tablespoons a day because that was the therapeutic dose I was recommended. I do recommend that to others. It's just important to know that if your body is going to detox like mine did because I had the digestive issues, it can be required, or if you're not used to eating
Hmm.
coconut oil or oils and fats like that in general, it may take a little bit of getting used to.
Sure.
But if I had to give you a direct answer, I say to people, go straight for the 3 tablespoons a day because you're going to get all those wonderful benefits. But if it's a bit much, just build up to that by starting with that teaspoon in
Yeah.
the morning and have another one, two, three, four during the day,
Yeah.
just to, now I can take half a jar and it's
Yeah.
fine. But
But
some people,
there's no side effect. There's no negative side effects of taking too much. It's not like taking a drug. So in essence, if you can take more, take more. And then if you need to build up to it, I guess your body will let you know, and you gradually just build it up to more that therapeutic dose. But you can put it like a teaspoon in the morning is what you're saying. But try to build up quickly to 3 tablespoons a day.
that's right, yeah. And
Sure.
you could, and even more, and that's exactly right. There's no side effects other than the potential detox effects, which
Sure.
is sort of a good thing because it's
Yeah.
saying the body's needing to flush some toxins.
Yeah.
But if it's a little uncomfortable for people, then
Yeah.
I just say ease back until you're ready
Sure.
to take more.
That's an important one. Just roughly how long would someone expect the detox effects to last? Just so that they know that, okay, it's not detox anymore, maybe. And this is not just with coconut oil, but a lot of people sometimes go on detoxes and they're not the best detoxes, something they bought from the supermarket. And people say, oh, if you feel sick, it's a detox effect. I mean, roughly in your experience, how long would that last? Would it be a week, a couple of weeks?
Not even, to be honest. That's a difficult question to generalize because it really depends on
Yeah.
the level of toxicity in the person's body and also the intensity of the detox.
Yes.
So it could be between, it's usually at least a few days, at least,
Sure.
and then up to one week, 2 weeks,
Sure.
again depending. But for me, I took it quite intense, and I went and I had 3 days of like what they call a healing crisis. This is the book, by the way,
Hmm.
Coconut Cures. Really good book, really really good book, and that's what got me going and taught
Sure.
me how to get started, how to use it as
Sure.
a healing oil, and it did say to me 3 days of a healing crisis, and that's pretty much what it was. But it was a tough 3 days, and that was
I
on
can
a
imagine.
very intense detox. Though I was taking only coconut oil,
Yeah.
and a lot of it.
Yeah.
To get started, as in like if people are just saying, well, I'm not doing a heavy detox, I'm just going to start incorporating it in my daily,
Yeah.
routine. Really, if they do start to feel a little sort of queasy in the stomach, if there is any sort of candida or
Hmm.
bacterial infection, that may happen even on 1 tablespoon.
Right.
That is mild. That will go within a few days.
Okay.
I've found that's my experience and my feedback I've had from
Sure.
others. Within a few days, they're okay to keep going. Yeah.
Sure. Now, I just wanted to ask quickly, because we're on the beauty regimen side of it. One thing I've tried is oil pulling. Now, it's the strangest thing I've ever. I use coconut oil a lot, but as a moisturizer, I put it in smoothies. And then I read this sort of wacky article that said if you take a tablespoon and you put it in your mouth and you swish it around, your teeth are going to look whiter and it will improve your dental health. And that's a big thing for me because my teeth, I've had a big, dental history, a lot of teeth removed. And I swished it around, and sure enough, my teeth became so white it was ridiculous. What is oil pulling, and how does it work?
Okay, oil pulling is one of my most favorite
Yeah,
health. It's amazing. It's amazing what I've experienced. It's
yeah,
amazing what people and even what you've just said.
yeah.
It's an ancient health tradition. It comes from the Ayurvedic cultures, and it's been around for many, 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 many years. And what it is here's how I like to sort of describe it. So you put that spoon of coconut oil in your mouth. The recommended way to do it is first thing in the morning because when we sleep, our body goes into a natural detox mode. Toxins and bacteria starting to be expelled from the body. And often the body will harbour those toxins and bacteria in the damp areas, one being the mouth.
Sure.
And so when we wake up in the morning, quite often the mouth can sometimes even you can feel it a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you have a drink of water or something like that, you're actually flushing the toxins back into your mouth. So the way I see oil pulling, in particular with coconut oil because of its antibacterial properties, is you're further assisting the body's natural detox process, because when you put the coconut oil in your mouth, the antibacterials will start to cleanse the mouth area, the gums, and the fat enzymes in the oil literally pull, and this is where it got the term pulling from, pus and bacteria, and that from the body, even quite deep down in the body. So the research behind it, and there's a fair bit by various doctors, including Dr. Weston Price, who's a very, very well-known international dentist, and the research and the science behind how it can affect more than just the gum and teeth area, but the entire body is around the fact that a lot of our meridians and organs are connected to meridians that are also connected to this part of the body. So by keeping this part of our body healthy and clean and free from toxins and any sort of infections and things like that, we're actually healing the entire body.
Sure.
And again, Bruce Fife has a wonderful book on oil pulling where he really goes into the science behind it. So there was another thing by there was the connection between the bodily organs, and that there was also a lot of connection found that how much oral health can affect our entire health. And that was what I wanted to say was quite often we can be harboring infection in the teeth and gums but not know it, because it's what they call, from the research I've done, they call it low-grade infection. Especially if there's like caps and root canals and things like that, because a lot of the nerve endings, things like that, are killed off. So there's an infection living there, spreading in the body. We're noticing it in the body, but we don't realize that this is where the cure is, or the cause of the body dysfunction or disease.
So you'd recommend that you do the oil pulling first thing in the morning, and that's before you drink anything, because you don't want to flush the toxins basically that your body has been trying so hard to put out. The last thing you want to do is put them back in. Is that right?
Exactly, yeah. First thing in the morning on an empty stomach, and some will do it a few times a day. If you know, especially if you're really working towards some sort of specific healing, but recommended to do it best first thing in the morning, and if you're going to do it again on an empty stomach. Because you want to get that detox, the best detox effect.
And how long do you keep it in your mouth for, Jenny? I've read it's about 15 to 20 minutes, which for some people sounds ridiculous. But I guess if you're checking your email or something in the morning, read the newspaper, then you've got nothing else to do, right?
That's right. It's like just get distracted. It flies by. I love it, you know, and I sometimes drop a bit of essential oil in my coconut oil. It's beautiful with a pleasant tasting coconut oil. It's a lot more pleasant. And here's how I like to describe it. The first 5 minutes, you'll get the superficial effects. So the teeth whitening, the cleansing of the mouth. It'll clean the bacteria and the...
That's fine.
I think the palate pickup's arrived. It'll cleanse the superficial cleansing of the mouth. But when you start moving into the 15, 20 minutes, and this is what Bruce Fife describes, that's when the deeper body detox and cleansing and healing begins. So it is important to keep going for the full 20 minutes. And as you said, I jump in the shower while I'm swishing.
That's a good way of doing it.
Making a juice, making my hot water and lemon with coconut oil while I'm swishing. You know, it's just the only thing is I can't talk. I just can't talk.
I guess you find a way around it. The other question I had for you, and this is a big one, people are really obsessed with obviously how they look and wanting to lose weight. And as I understand it, coconut oil, not only do they not need to be worried about putting on weight with it, but it can actually help burn more fat off. How does that one work?
Okay. Yeah, that's a great one. That's a really great one with coconut oil. It's the molecular structure that's all the difference. And I think that first and foremost, what we need to shift is this fat makes us fat, because
Yeah.
really it is transforming now. And what we're discovering in real nutrition and about real food is that it's the processed foods and the sugars, and it's not about how much fat you eat. It's about the kind of fat that you eat.
Sure.
And, if you're going to put those trans fats and hydrogenated oils and processed
Hmm.
oils and things like that into your body, yeah, they're going to stick to you, and they're going to, not only are they going to make you sort of grow, they're going to toxify the body.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about good fats, real fat, like the essential oils that we get from
Hmm.
lovely plant-based oils, and the
Yeah.
and coconut oil also being plant-based, this is helping our body to do what it's supposed to be doing, and they're not making us fat. They're making us healthy,
Yeah.
and happy. So coconut oil even stands aside from other kinds of even natural and healthy fats in the
Hmm.
way that it's a medium chain fatty acid. So unlike others that may be shorter chain or longer chain, the medium chain fatty acids has a molecular structure that when the body ingests it, our body takes it in, it bypasses the gallbladder and the pancreas, goes straight to the liver as a source of energy, like
Hmm.
boom, and the liver processes coconut oil into energy, doesn't store it as fat. Okay?
Right.
So it's a source of energy in the body. The body gets energized by it. And it then also, because of that conversion to energy in the body, it gets the metabolism working well. So a lot
Sure.
of research will even talk about how it can help with hormone balance and thyroid balance because of the effect it has on metabolism. So
Sure.
that's why coconut oil, when ingested, won't store in the body as fat. A good, pure, clean, of course, coconut oil.
Sure. On that subject, I thought obviously I should ask you, what's the difference? Because people will hear about this and go, I'm going to try and, I'm going to go out and get coconut oil and try it. What's the difference between, any store-bought coconut oil that they pick up in a supermarket and what you've been doing, which obviously, and I just read your Facebook page, obviously there's a lot of fantastic reviews there and they're all saying, it's the best thing they've ever tried. What's the difference there? How is it different? Why is it different? Why is it important? Why should anyone care?
Well, like anything, if you want to have something good, especially when it comes to healing, you want to have something that's very, very pure and very, very
Yeah.
authentic. And our coconut oil is extremely pure. And that is, I'll explain why and
Yep.
the how we've come about that difference, because that's important, as well as like people notice it, and you would have read in our reviews. When you eat it, you taste it. It's
Yeah.
so clean.
Yeah.
It's so
A lot of them did talk about the taste, and the taste is different.
Yeah, it's just again that taste is that pure taste. The coconut itself is a beautiful, beautiful gift from Mother Nature, our lovely
Mm.
coconut. And producing coconut oil is a delicate process, and there's a number of different ways to produce it. But when I go and I spend time now with our Thailand with our producers very often, and it starts with the raw materials. It starts with the actual coconut and the
Sure.
soil that the coconut's harvested on. Our farms are certified organic, all our coconut. People think, oh, you could just pull coconuts from anywhere and be wild.
From any trees. Yeah.
Well, you could, but you are risking contamination, pesticides, chemicals, things go on,
Yeah.
outside
Yeah.
of these. When something's in a certified organic area, harvest, that there's nothing that's
Yeah.
potentially pesticide or anything like that may have got there. Then we go through this process. It's so amazing when I watch them. They check the meat, the actual raw materials, smell it, you know, and any sign of any sort of thing that's not 100% top-notch perfect quality is disregarded, and it goes off to produce a
Wow.
cheaper oil or a
Right.
refined coconut oil. So we
Right.
use the highest quality. The other important thing is we never use a coconut that's not fully matured. Now, when it comes to the health benefits of coconut oil, that is absolutely critical, because it's in that maturation phase that the coconut develops its medium chain fatty acids.
Ah, right.
The
Okay.
ones I mentioned before, the medium chain
Sure.
fatty acids in coconut are the antifungal, antibacterial, antiviral. They're the healing properties of coconut oil. That's
Right.
why our oil absorbs so beautifully in the skin because
Yeah.
it's highly concentrated with medium chain fatty acids. That's why the healing benefits are so wonderful because of that high concentration. That comes from the mature coconut. So we're not sort of just pulling coconuts from anywhere at any age.
Mm.
We're very,
Yeah.
very what is it, quality control process.
Yeah.
And like I said, the ones that aren't good enough for our oil, they just get sent off to produce other products. Then there's the extraction process.
Yes.
There's a number of different ways to make coconut oil that are quite well known. There's a quick dry method. I believe that's often used over in the Pacific Islands, and that's a traditional process as well, where they heat. They use a
Yeah.
heating process, and there's fermentation where they allow it to open and openly ferment.
Sure.
Okay, we
Yeah.
don't use either of those processes. We use a process that doesn't involve fermentation and a process that doesn't involve heat. And I believe that by having that cold extraction process, it's cold pressed and wet milled. See, sometimes you can use heat and then cold press it and still call it cold pressed, but it doesn't mean it
Yeah.
hasn't been heat treated. Often a heat
Yeah.
treated oil will have a stronger taste.
Hmm.
So I guess when you taste that mildness in our coconut oil, it's not overpowering taste. That's why, because we haven't heat treated it. So
Sure.
it's a very gentle extraction process that doesn't use any heat. Of course, it doesn't use any chemicals. It's all certified organic.
Of
Sort of
course.
feel like that sort of goes without saying.
Yeah.
Um, the other part of our process then is the gentle separation technique that's really definitive. So with our oil, again, it's 100% pure, no fibers, no proteins. From the coconut meat, no nothing is left in it. You've got a really pure, 100% pure coconut oil. When you taste that and it melts in your mouth and it just drops down the back of your throat and there's no aftertaste and there's no grittiness, that's when you notice it. I can't think of any other way to say to people, if you're wondering what the difference is with our oil, just
Try it.
taste it. It's like, just please taste it, because I see it
Yeah.
all the time. The response in people's faces, I get it on the emails, you've seen it on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
I can tell you all you want, but when you
Definitely.
taste it and you put it on your skin and you start to use it in your cooking, there is quite a difference. There's a big difference.
Sure.
And the other thing is to, say, produce a cheaper oil. It is possible, to blend or do things like this. We don't do any of that. Again, it just comes back to that 100%
Yeah.
pure, really clean. That's some of the words customers say to me is, when tasting our oil, is clean, soft, smooth. These are the words I hear. Pure. And
Yeah.
clean's probably a big
And
one.
if someone wants to, because I'm just about to run out of coconut oil, and obviously, after what you just said, I want to buy some of yours. If someone wants to buy some of yours, where's the easiest way to buy it? Is it through your website,
Through our website is very easy, yes, at coconutmagic.com.
magic.com? Yeah.
We're available, depending where you are, we're available at most leading health food stores and organic
Yeah.
stores. So, we're local here to Northern Rivers and Queensland, all the Flannery stores, Ray Organic, Healthy Life, Go Vita.
Yeah.
There's a stockist locator. So yes, online, definitely all our products are always available online. And
Fantastic.
we also have a stockist locator for those that want to find a store nearby.
Great. Okay. Now we just had a few questions on Facebook, so I'll just go through this. Some of them we may have answered, but I'll go through them all nonetheless. So Naomi here has a question. I know nothing about coconut oil, and she wants to know what is the best thing. I guess that's a hard one to pick, isn't it? What is the best thing it can do for me, with three question marks afterwards?
Because of my own experience, I've always said, if I could only give you one thing,
Yeah.
I would suggest the
Right.
digestive benefits. And for those that understand the body and healing, and if you speak to any naturopath, no matter what they're trying to heal, they're going to work on your digestion, because a
Definitely.
huge portion of our immune system lives here. So just by taking coconut oil every day, the digestive system will become stronger, and
Sure.
that will just build immune, build everything. So digestion, was it Natalie? Was it her name?
Yeah, Naomi.
Naomi, sorry.
Naomi,
Naomi.
she wants to know the best thing, but she's going to get a lot more than one thing.
That's
So,
that's it. Yeah, as you know, and many of us do now,
yeah,
coconut oil does so much for us. But I've always said if I had one thing, I'd suggest how beneficial it is for our digestive
sure.
system.
And that helps everything else, doesn't
That's
it?
right. Mm.
Now, Michelle has a question. This is a pet-related one. Can it help with yeast infections in dogs?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a German Shepherd. They're prone to digestive problems.
Yeah.
And before I went to Thailand, she did used to have. I used to always, I'd be, watching her in different ways, and I would see the sort of problems she would come about sometimes. But she gets a coconut oil every day now, and her digestion's really good. She's super healthy. She's 11 years old, super, super healthy. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I guess also for Michelle, how would you recommend she gives it to the dog? You were mentioning before that it's just you. I guess you put it in the
That's
food.
probably the easiest way. Put it in the dog's food. If the dog
Hmm.
has any adversity to just eating it out of your hand, which yeah, I guess it depends on the pet, on the dog
Sure.
itself, but it's easy enough to mix it in the
Sure.
food. Oh, his.
And I guess how much would you give the dog as well? Is there a rough guide? I mean, German Shepherd to Corgi is going to be different,
It's
obviously.
definitely, I have that on an article on our website. Called
Fantastic.
Coconut Oil for Healthy Pets, and I do recall researching the exact amounts to give certain
Okay.
sizes. Yes, so it
Sure.
does.
Well, what I'll do is I'll grab that link and I'll put it below. And then Michelle can find that article, which is fantastic. And I got another Michelle, this time with two L's. She wants to know what's the best coconut oil for your face. I'm gonna guess what your answer will be.
I did a presentation once and spoke for about three-quarters of an hour on coconut, and someone put their hand up and said, "Which brand should I buy?"
That's that's a pretty simple one,
But
right?
I will
Um,
say for the face, something I do want to say about the face is, I say to ladies, men, to watch their natural.
mm,
Everybody's got. There's no one size fits all, and our
sure.
coconut oil is definitely good to use on the face. I do use it on
Mm,
my face. I just find that about 3 times a week is enough. And
right.
on other days, I alternate. I use a few different oils. I do put it on my whole body every night, every day, every night,
Hmm.
every day,
Hmm.
regardless. With the face, I just feel like just watch how your face responds, because everybody's got their unique
Sure.
skin combinations. But it's
Sure.
because of its beautiful absorption, fantastic on the face. Yeah.
Okay. I guess related to that, because the next question from Rachel is coconut oil a good facial moisturizer? And she's saying a lot of people break out from using it. And then just underneath, she's also said, every time I use coconut oil as a face moisturizer, I would get pimples. And she wants to know why is it
Mm.
so?
A good quality coconut oil that's high in medium chain fatty acids will not be clogging on the face or the skin. And I've heard people say that they find it clogging, and
Yeah.
it's not, because again, as I said, the body absorbs it. A good quality oil. Breaking out. So if I recall, I've researched the science behind acne and pimples, and
Hmm.
it's a inflammation of the sebum gland and a buildup of bacteria. So
Right.
coconut oil, technically being antibacterial, shouldn't cause breakouts. It's also anti-inflammatory. So in fact, I do also have read and researched that it helps reduce acne. Again, it's going to come back to the quality of the oil that they're
Sure.
using. And also, I wouldn't be surprised, it's just similar to the internal healing crisis, that if that antibacterial, it could cause a little detox.
A detox.
The,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
skin could also detox. So the skin has its own immune system, and the body
Sure.
has its own immune system. So that could be the cause. It could
Okay.
to cause that. But technically, the antibacterial will reduce.
Sure.
Could I just throw something in there too
Sure.
for Michelle?
Rachel.
Rachel. Oh, there's too many names. Um,
No, there was a Michelle. There were
Two
two
Michelle's. There
Michelles.
was one with a double L.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oil pulling therapy. Oil pulling is fantastic for healing skin acne and breakouts because of that elimination of the pus and bacteria. So what happens is the body wants to eliminate, and it does
Yeah.
it through the skin. And
Right.
I know myself, my own experience, where that used to happen to me around my face, in particular around here, oil pulling, phew, finished all of that. So I
Right.
recommend oil pulling for those that are really healing this.
So it's really synergistic then, isn't it? So even though the problem seems to be on the outside, fixing what's on the inside often can fix what's on the outside, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, that's fantastic. Now I got one, this is an interesting name, Ladybug Lopez. How she wants to know, I assume it's a she, how much to consume for healthy weight loss, and there's two questions. How much to consume for healthy weight loss? Then the second question is how can it help with toenail fungus? Slightly different questions.
They are two different questions. How much to consume with weight loss? The way Dr. Bruce Fife describes it is by taking a tablespoon with your meals, you help burn up the kilojoules and energy of that meal. So I've
Right.
seen people, what they do, a combination of my lemon juice detox drink, the warm water, squeeze a lemon juice, spoon of coconut oil, have a drink of that before you have your meal. As I
Mm-hmm.
said, even first thing in the morning is a great way to start the cleansing of digestive
Yep.
and activate metabolism. So that's a great way
Yep.
to take coconut oil for weight loss. I do want to specify, though, as any sort of one would, is that taking coconut oil every day for weight loss is fantastic because it will have those wonderful effects. It's just that it's also really important to ensure that you're not ingesting trans fats and hydrogenated oils and those toxic oils as well, because you're going to
Sure.
counteract some of those effects. Sugar's also a bit of a deadly poison
Yeah.
that's going to hold toxins and fat and things like that in the body. So really, the healthy coconut oil is great to add, but it's also important to take out some of those things if they're still in the diet. Yeah.
Sure. So it's all about balance. I mean, you can't just take one thing for weight loss. If I'm understanding you correctly, you can't take one thing and then expect you can eat whatever you want and that you're going to be healthy. You do need to cut out the poisons as well.
Yes, because a lot of the time, some of the stubborn weight, especially now, just to give a bit
Mm.
of really good feedback, I had a lady bouncing into one of my stalls once at an event, and she was so excited, and she told me that she'd lost this body fat by taking our coconut oil every day, and it was a year after, it was the same event, and she said to me that she'd lost some stubborn weight around her hips that just wouldn't move, no
Yeah.
matter what she exercised or even not didn't eat. But what happens is the coconut oil, the detoxing, the breaking down of the toxins that are holding the fat, that's what flushed out that unwanted body fat.
Right.
So, and the good thing about that is because it was done properly, it lasted. It lasts.
It was lasting
It
weight loss.
lasted.
Yep.
It didn't just come back at the second she put something in her mouth.
Mouth. Yep.
So that's how coconut oil works. So it works on a detoxing cellular level to help the body naturally let go of excess body weights. So we don't want to be doing
Sure.
all that and then having a Big Mac.
Sure. Sure. Which I think makes sense, but I take your point. What about the toenail fungus question she asked?
It does help with toenail fungus, yes, because it's an antifungal. And
Okay.
it's a matter of applying it regularly, frequently.
Sure.
And also a good way to do it is if you can give yourself like a treatment, especially if it's a bad one where you put the oil all over your foot, especially
Mm-hmm.
over the area, and maybe put something around it like a wrap or a sock and leave it in
Mm-hmm.
overnight and do that every single day until
Sure.
it's healed.
Fantastic. Pam Harvey has a question. How can it help in a candida diet?
Oh, my story. Pam, please get a copy of this book. Please get a copy of this book.
I'll have to put a link to that below as
What you
well.
will learn from here about candida, and this book talks about the coconut oil detox, and this I'll remember this from till the day. It talks about how people did the detox and they literally saw candida being flushed from their body, clumps of it.
Wow.
So people that had chronic candida. So how coconut oil helps, to answer your question, is it's a natural antifungal, and it's an antibacterial, so it gets into the digestive tract and it kills off the bad bacteria,
Right.
the yeast.
Right. Yeah.
So all candida is, now candida lives in our body, and it comes back to what you said before, in the body, everything's about being a balance when it comes to cholesterol, bacteria, yeast,
Yeah.
hormones. It's not about having no bad and all good. It's about having the good and the bad, and that's what the immune system
Yeah.
does, is keeps everything so that the bad's not winning the war, killing the good.
Definitely.
That's when the problem starts. So
Sure.
what coconut oil does is it kills off the bad bacteria to keep them at bay, so the infection doesn't get out of control. A candida
Sure.
infection out of control is horrible, so I'm with you. I know how awful it is. It affects the entire body, and
Sure.
in so many different ways, and it is really important to keep those bad bacteria down. And so it literally, and that's why I mentioned before, sometimes if you have a candida infection, when you take a potent coconut oil, a healing coconut oil, oh, queasiness can kick in because they're
Yeah.
starting to fight the bad bacteria away.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of it's pretty simple and like logical, isn't it? But important not to have sugar and refined
Hmm.
sugars and things like that because
Definitely.
that feeds the bad bacteria. And then to take a lot of good coconut oil to kill the bad bacteria. I
Sure.
also think it's a great idea, and I do this myself, is to eat some good fermented foods and sauerkraut, and
Ah,
because
yeah.
what that does is replenish the good bacteria.
Good
So can you
bacteria.
see how
Yeah.
beautifully they work together to
Yeah.
keep that balance?
S- So basically, for Pam, decrease the sugar, have some of the good coconut oil, and then maybe help the good bacteria win the war, have some fermented food and things like that. I think the other thing with that is alcohol and caffeine and antibiotics also kill off a lot of the good bacteria as well. So sometimes that can make candida worse as well. But also, if Pam wants to get a copy of that book. What was the name of that book again?
It's called
The
Coconut Cures by Dr. Bruce Fife.
Bruce Fife. We'll have to put a link down to that below.
Because it just
Um,
what he teaches us about the digestive tract and about yeast infection in here is fantastic. Yeah.
Great. Now, two more questions. One is from Lisa with a double I. I've had people ask if they already have oily skin, if it will make it worse. I read about it, and from what I remember, coconut oil actually balances out the skin's oil levels so it can suit all types. But I think that's something people would be interested to learn about. So is coconut oil, I guess, okay for all skin types?
It is. It is because as the coconut oil works with the body, um, because it's just natural. You know, I put it. It is
Yeah,
so pure, and again, it comes back to having that really, really good, pure quality coconut oil, and
sure.
it'll work by giving your skin what it needs. No, it's not oily on the skin. It's even when you taste our oil, Adrian. People sometimes say to me, "Oh, it doesn't taste oily," but
Which is what most people want. Most people don't like eating oily things because they've been all conditioned, oh, fats are bad,
it
right?
just doesn't. It's just so light and clean, and so that's
Yeah,
right. That like on the skin. But no, it's fine with oily skin. Again, though, I'll come back to what I said about one size fits all. I'd be inclined to just as it what it will do is help to balance, as she had found in her research.
yeah,
But I would sort of start slowly and build up, so the body's
sure,
rebuilding or reconnecting with its natural balance, and
sure.
then yeah, so not to overdose
Fantastic.
it to start with.
Sure. Now, last question. Natalie Fox has a question. I think we kind of answered this one. Where to start? With a smiley face at the end. And this is where you mentioned probably to start with healing the digestive system first. Is that correct?
I think that Natalie might refer to where to start or how to start using it. Is that what or
It's just got here where to start, which I guess might could also mean how to start using it as well. So,
if I again where to start, start by using it in your cooking. Throw away your processed oils.
sure,
I mean it. Canola oils and your margarines or your
sure.
all those commercial cookers. Throw them away and use your coconut oil only for cooking. And
Yep,
fear not, because our oil's mild tasting, so it's okay to use even in non-traditional coconut dishes. It really is, and it's delicious. So that's a great place to start. Start using it on your skin as a daily
yep.
skincare regime is another great place to start.
Fantastic.
Put it in the hot drinks, put it in the smoothies. Okay, it's more than one, but there's so many great ways you can get the benefits. Ingest coconut oil.
Sure. But I mean that's great because not everyone will want to do, I guess, every single thing. So there's a few different ways of doing it, then there's more chance of someone ingesting it or using it and I guess seeing the benefits. And once you see the benefits, then you're more likely to continue using it. So that's great. I did find also when I started using it for cooking, it's interesting. I thought everything would taste of coconut, and it really doesn't. Which I'm not sure how that happened, but definitely throw out those unhealthy cooking oils. And the margarine, I can't get over people using margarine. I mean, that's a personal, like, why replace butter with margarine? But anyway, now, That's all the questions. I guess just one last one here. I've also got the coconut nectar on your site. Can you tell us a little bit about the coconut nectar? Because that looks very interesting and tasty.
It tastes beautiful. It's a sweetener, a natural sweetener. And I was over there, over at the farms just
Mm,
only in July. And it's again very traditional farming. The families, in the farms, I watched the man climb the tree and collect the sap from the coconut tree. Now,
wow.
yeah, it's at the top of the tree, and they slice open the sac of the blossom, and it pours out, and they put it into these wooden containers, and they climb the tree just like this.
That's quite a tall tree,
It's
isn't it?
amazing. Amazing. And it's, they don't want to be told to do this and do that. They know what they're doing. Do you know what I mean? And they
Yeah.
don't hurt
Yeah.
they don't hurt themselves. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, are you gonna be okay? Of course. We're talking years, hundreds of years,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Generations.
generations. So they don't want someone like me walking in going, oh, are you sure you don't are you gonna
Health and
yeah,
safety.
yeah.
Yeah.
I found that quite amusing. I thought, of course. And so
Yeah.
I'm watching him climb up and fill the wooden barrels with
Mm,
sap, which was very, very, very liquid. And I even
yeah.
had the opportunity, the lady there had put some in the fridge before I came to taste it cold. And it's like
Right.
having a very sweet drink. That's it. So
Yeah.
the sap is collected and then it's heated, again, using their traditional methods, these big pots, and they're stirring it about it has slight amounts of water added to form the coconut syrup, which is what we call coconut nectar. That's it. That's all there is to it. That's how
Fantastic.
natural it is, again, how pure it is. It's certified organic. There's just, yeah, and that's all it is this sweet sap. That's it. It's collected from the
Sure.
coconut tree. It doesn't actually taste like coconut because it's not made from the coconuts.
Yeah.
Um, some say it has a toffee caramel. Some say it's got like a flower because it is from the flower, a hint of flour.
Hmm.
It's a very unique, very beautiful, sweet taste. And I've had like kids come up to me at events and demos and say, "Can
Yeah.
I taste your coconut honey?"
I was going to say, it sounds a bit like
It
honey.
does, yes, and it looks like honey. It does look like
Yeah.
honey. And I know that there are questions out there around sustainability, Adrian, so I'll just address
Hmm.
this now as
Sure.
well. The trees and the farms that I went to visit and where we produce our coconut nectar, they're farmed specifically, the coconut trees are farmed specifically for nectar production because what happens, Adrian, is when they do the process of collecting the sap, the coconuts won't grow on the trees. So
Oh, right.
that's
Okay.
so that these are farms that are designed specifically for producing coconut nectar and coconut sugar. So after the nectar's produced, it's then crystallized, and that's what makes our coconut sugar.
Sure.
So it contains the same nutritional benefits. In fact, we have to touch on that with the nectar because that's a huge benefit, the nutritional profile,
Oh, right. Yeah.
amino acid profile. It's also a low glycemic index. So just for that sustainability issue, and I've done more research on sustainability when it comes to coconut sweeteners, and they are actually classified by some of the larger associations as the most sustainable sweetener productions.
Wow. Right.
Because what happens when we start to collect the sap,
Yeah.
it flows for years and years and years and years.
Years.
Years,
Wow.
years,
Okay.
years and years,
Right.
years. We're not harming any wildlife. We're
Yeah.
not harming the tree. We're not killing off any trees. We're not harming any forests. We're not harming any animals. I'm an animal lover. I'd never do anything that would harm
Yeah.
natural wildlife or any animals. And so it is actually a highly sustainable, but some people are under the impression is because of the coconut production. But our coconut and big producers of coconut, not just myself, we have our
Yeah.
designated farms
Yeah.
that are for the coconut trees, and then there's the wild coconut trees. So what I'm saying is,
Sure.
even our nectar and sugar, designated farms, and in
Sure.
all honesty, it keeps the livelihood of thousands and thousands and thousands of farmers,
Sure.
over centuries of years. So that's
Well, it's clear that you obviously care a great deal about your product and you've obviously thought through every last piece, which I guess anyone who's passionate about anything, that's what they do, isn't it? They go deep and they make sure that the product that comes out at the end is the best, which, as I said, I need to stop talking to you and get on your site and buy some of this and try it for myself. But look, that's all the questions. Is there anything else, any closing words you wanted to give our readers, or just say go ahead and try some?
If you're wondering, I ask you if you are wondering what's the difference. Yeah, please do taste it. It's there
Absolutely.
in the pudding. The products taste beautiful, and they have wonderful results. I say if you're new to coconut oil and you just want one thing to help, what will transform your health is that cooking aspect. You
Yeah.
know, get onto it, at least do it for your cooking. That's the first thing I called home about when I discovered coconut oil. I called home and I said, stop using olive oil in your
Yeah.
cooking. Go and get some coconut oil.
Which a lot of people are confused about because they think olive oil is healthy for you, and it is as long as you don't cook with it.
Yeah. Yes. So
Okay.
that's one. That's a good one.
That's fantastic. And your website is coconutmagic.com.
Yes. Please sign up for our
And
newsletter because I'm
absolutely.
always emailing out great recipes, health tips, and yeah, specials, things like that.
Fantastic. And they can also find you, I can see here on Facebook, getting to the social media, the Facebook, the Google Plus, Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube.
Yeah, we're getting
So,
around now.
well, that's fantastic because people always want information in different ways. So that's fantastic. So Jenni, thank you so much for your time and all your wisdom, and thank you for making such a fantastic product. And definitely go check out her site and go try some of that coconut oil and some of that coconut nectar. I need to try both. I think I might even try some of the beauty aspects of it. I could use a little bit of help in that aspect. But thank you so much for your time, and I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, everyone listening. Thank you.
Thanks, Jenni. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.